Hi guys, so not been around for a bit obviously, so I've got a couple of articles I want to touch on today from The Athletic. Well, I think there's three actually, in all fairness. In this one, I'm going to touch on Harvey Elliott and what now, and I'm also going to touch on which was by, who's this by? So this is by James Pearce, Greg Evans and Jacob Tanswell. And then I'm also going to touch on Jeremy Jacquet, how Liverpool signed him, Pierce, Andy Jones, and Mark Carey. So if you do end up liking this video, make sure hitting the like button, subscribing, hyping as well if you can do, and let me know down below what you think. I will also be following this up with a video about which one is it? Is it? It's not that one. Where's it gone? It's something to do with, it's Andy Jones at The Athletic. Liverpool's transfer window, no short-term signings, represents a major gamble. That will be coming up after this. So, let's start with these, shall we? In all fairness, let's go through the Harvey Elliott one first. I think. No, in fact, Jeremy Jacquet, let's do that one because he is obviously the new signing for Liverpool. So the article touches on the player, how much they paid for him, 55 million plus 5 million in add-ons. His contract will go till 2031 with an option to extend it till 2032. And he will arrive obviously on July the 1st, sorry. He's the second most expensive centre-back in Liverpool's history. Liverpool met Rennes' price. Chelsea hesitated and Jacquet chose Liverpool, and that's basically all that matters really. Why Liverpool wanted him? It says here that this wasn't about filling a hole in February. It's about owning the next 5 to 8 years at centre-back. Internally, Liverpool believe that he's a top-tier centre-back potential, not just a prospect. He fits Arne Slot's long-term model, which I think as it stands right now, Slot's job's still not safe for me, so we'll see what happens there. His ceiling justifies paying now rather than scrambling later on. This is the same logic that they once applied to Van Dijk, just at an earlier stage of development. Why the player chose Liverpool? He had a clear pathway rather than at Chelsea. He would be one of many centre-backs. Liverpool obviously got like a centre-back. What's the word I'd be looking for? Lack of, shall we say. He will compete with Van Dijk and obviously replacing Konaté potentially should he leave once his contract's out. He trusts the project. He had direct conversations with Richard Hughes, and Liverpool sold him a development arc, not just a shirt number. It says here that Liverpool deliberately didn't rival Mark Gahey because of to pay the inflated wages and bonuses for a short-term fix, which, to be fair, like Mark Gahey's what, 25, 26? Like he's only like 5 years older, and centre-backs can play, as we know, like Van Dijk into the 30s, so we could have had Gay for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? So that don't really wash me, in all fairness, and I do think that Liverpool did want to go for Gahey, but obviously something happened there why they didn't go for him. But if you ever look at Jeremy Jacquet's stats right now, this season, he has played 20 games with no goals, no assists, obviously with being a centre-back, 1,784 minutes in league, and he's played 18 games with 4 yellow cards and then 1 second yellow, so he's been sent off once this year. Started 90% of the minutes, which is probably why he missed that one, because obviously he was sent off, and he completed 89% of the minutes available of the ones that he played. So he seems pretty fit. Doesn't seem to be like Joe Gomez, shall we say, not to take the piss, but just being perfectly honest with ourselves. Instead, they accepted a short-term defensive discomfort and secured a high-ceiling asset aligned with the squad age reset. Tactical and physical profile. He already does well. Aggressive front foot defender, comfortable in a high line, excellent recovery pace, strong in the air. He's won 76% of his aerial duels, which is an elite for an under 23-year-old. He's a progressive passer, line-breaking confidence, and calm under pressure. Midfield background shows. So he was a midfielder at one point. And it says that this is a Premier League compatible DNA. He still needs to work on, he can overcommit when hunting duels. Switches of play are ambitious but inconsistent. Not yet tested weekly against elite forwards and needs physical adaptation to the Premier League tempo and duels. He's got raw power with polish pending, not a finished defender. So it sounds very similar to like that last bit to like Florian Wirtz, doesn't it? Like, you know, he seemed to need to adapt to the Premier League a little bit more than he possibly did do at one point. Let me move that camera down a little bit. I don't know if I've moved it down too far now. I'm not even looking at the screen. There we go. That should be all right. Why the fee makes sense. If he put together one or a few more elite seasons, then he becomes 80 to 90 million in today's market. Liverpool paid for his trajectory and for the scarcity of young centre-backs on the market that are an elite, and to get ahead of a brutal summer market. The squad complications right now, obviously, is Konaté's contract is ticking on. Jacquet is leverage against Konaté now. Gomez is in the final year. Van Dijk obviously will be going into the final year of his contract as well, and Leone could be his long-term partner going forward. Anything else I think they touch on this? Nah, that seems fine for Jacquet. So, me personally, I would have liked to have seen Liverpool sign somebody in January just to fortify this season, but reading up on this guy, it does sound like Liverpool have potentially got ahead of something rather than waiting for the summer. You know, he might end up going to World Cup and performing well for France, and in that case his price is just going to go astronomical in it. So I don't know, like, we'll see what happens, won't we? So the next bit I want to cover off with you now was this Harvey Elliott stuff. So basically this article is called Harvey Elliott, What Now? It's basically trying to explain that it's a loan that's gone wrong and not that he's not talented. It was meant to be the proving ground for him. Instead, it's become a contractual trap shaped by PSR concerns, obligation clauses, and a manager who never truly wanted Elliott. So that's obviously Unai Emery. So it says here, what actually killed the move? The loan structure poisoned everything. The deal included an appearance-based obligation. Hit 10 appearances and Villa are then forced to buy him for 35 million. Unai Emery decided early he didn't want him, which resulted in Elliott being quietly shelved to avoid triggering the clause. Emery's number 10s must be physically dominant, shield the ball under pressure, defend like a fullback, and carry a goal threat and tactical discipline, which Elliott can keep the ball. He is technically sharp, and obviously he's a bit of an intelligent passer. But I don't think he's that physical enforcer half, which I think is what we've all kind of seen at Liverpool, haven't we? You know. It says here as well, he was never Emery's guy. Villa's data and scouting liked Elliott. Emery wanted Lucas Paqueta. The Elliott deal happened late amid internal friction with Monchi and then early season panic. Once Villa stabilised and surged, Elliott became expendable. Why January escape never happened? There's no recall clause. Elliott had already played for 2 clubs this season, blocking a third European move. Villa would have had to have paid to terminate the loan, and Liverpool refused to waiver that fee. Elliott waited for compromise and none came. Now it says here the human side of all of this. Despite everything, Elliott trained hard, stayed professional, engaged with the community work, and never downed tools. Instead, you know, football-wise, that'll be pretty good for him, I suppose, with his reputation showing that even if he doesn't get his own way, he's not a diva, he's not going to do things to get, you know, on the bad side of football and stuff. You know, it's going to look good in it when he goes to find another club, or if he comes back to Liverpool. We don't know, do we? At Liverpool, he's made 147 appearances. He's had some big moments. He's a title winner, but he's never been first choice. But he has been trusted. My left eye is twitching like hell. The move only happened after Liverpool landed Isak. Even then, Elliott was reluctant to leave Liverpool. He left a system under Arne Slot that values tactical intelligence for one that prizes physical domination. And that contrast is the story. Any other fallout for him? So after being the player of the tournament in the under-21s, he planned on being at the World Cup this year. Instead, that's not going to happen. He is obviously still 22, so he could still potentially do that. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I do feel sorry for Harvey Elliott. I really do. I could see him potentially coming back to Liverpool at one point, especially under a new manager, like someone like Xabi Alonso, for instance, and potentially thriving and becoming a bit of a. You could swap him with Verts a little bit, I suppose, couldn't you? Like, make it so that they're, swapping in and out of that position a little bit, and you get a bit more squad depth there. But yeah, I do feel sorry for Elliot. I love Elliot. My stepdad loves Elliot as well. He's got Elliot on the back of his shirt and everything, and he's pissed off that he left Liverpool when he did. So yeah, anyway, guys, let me know what you think of those articles down below in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys.